Hello everybody, my name is Super Chicken. I have had a lot of positive feedback in regards to this hunter list that I've been using. I've made a couple of minor tweaks and I think I'm going to try to see how far I can get with it tonight. I'm sort of hoping that in one of the next upcoming matchups I will see some aggressive decks to sort of test this against. It was pointed out to me by a couple of users on YouTube that, YouTube and Twitter, that I'd really only be seeing slower decks, slower sort of ponderous decks, and this hunter deck seems to be able to handle that reasonably well. It certainly makes it's a pretty good matchup to have to be against a druid, for example. But at the same time, I hadn't really had many games against like an aggro paladin, an aggro warlock, or even tempo mage or something like that. So it'd be really good to see an aggressive matchup in one of these next three matches that I'm going to be doing this video to really sort of get a good feel for it. I've made a couple of minor changes to the list. I've taken out Animal Companion, and I've chucked in one Secret Keeper just to give it a go. Given the amount of secrets that we have, it may actually be worth playing, but I've only added one because, I'm not sold on it, so I guess we'll see. This is actually a pretty good opening hand. I'm up against a Warlock, so there's a good chance it could be an aggressive deck, so this is reasonable. Freezing Trap on a Flame Imp. Let's go with Flame Imp. Is actually really good, because, they take 3 damage, and then you Freezing Trap it, and then they can take another 3 damage. It's not too bad, so, especially with the Warlock hitting his own health at the rate that he does, in conjunction with our, steady shot, it's not too bad. So I'm just going to keep this. I think it looks pretty good. Looks decent. I can play practically every card in the first couple of turns, so that's really good. And I must say that is an absolute perfect card to draw off the top of the deck. Turn 1 tracking, I think, is the play. I mean, we could pass turn and not do anything, but I think we're going to want to do this. This is an interesting spread of cards. I am sort of banking on this Warlock being an aggressive Warlock, so I'm going to take the Abomination here. Otherwise, it'll be a tough toss-up between these two. I may take the Gadget Stand Auctioneer if it wasn't a Warlock. Sort of just depends on what I'm playing against. I'm going to take the Abomination and pass the turn. The reason I take the Abomination is because I'm taking an educated guess that this will be an aggressive Warlock, as a lot of Warlocks tend to be. And him playing Flame Imp sort of does confirm that a little bit. But, that's not necessarily the case, but because it is just a strong card. But this sort of opening typically would be an aggressive opening. So I believe Abomination was the correct choice back there. I think Freezing Trap right now will be the play because he will play Flame Imp into a Freezing Trap. He's unlikely to swing with this first because they do like to keep those in reserve. I don't have enough mana to really benefit from Wild Pyromancer in conjunction with something else. So I'm just going to Freezing Trap, hopefully catch his Flame Imp, and then force him to pay for the card again next turn and then take another 3 damage on his character. It'd be really good if he does Power Overwhelming or something. Okay. That is actually the best possible result. It looks like he's wasted a card buffing his own creature, which will now just get sent back to his hand. So he's wasted his turn, he's wasted a card buffing it, he's lost a lot of tempo, and he's going to have to pay 3 life to get it out again, at an increased cost. So, I mean, what more can you ask for? That was perfect. As a matter of fact, I may even put the Snipe down, so if he does want to play it this turn, because I believe it's a 1-cost creature, so with Freezing Trap it'll now be a 3-cost creature, and he has 3 mana, he may just play it again. Straight into the Snipe. Alright, so he's wise to that. That's fine. He led with this creature, probably knowing that could have been a Snipe. Snipe would have been a lot better targeting the Fairy Dragon or his Flame Imp. So we have 4 mana. And not enough to do a Pyromancer combo, which would be really good, but I think we're just going to do multi-shot and take 2 of these out. Honestly, I hope I multi-shot into the Fairy Dragon at the very least. That's just my luck. That's alright, I mean, it's still a valuable trade there. Like, I destroyed 2 of his cards for 1 of my own, so it does actually pull us ahead. And you can't have everything, but it would have been nice to have removed that creature because of his Fairy Dragon can't be targeted. Rubbish. Can make him pretty hard to target at the best of times. I think the play here is to play Misdirection and hope that they kill each other. That would be probably the best thing. The alternative is to play Wild Pyromancer into Misdirection. It'll kill this creature. That sounds reasonable. It will kill it. They won't have a chance of destroying each other. There is only a chance that the misdirection will destroy themselves. There's a chance that they may target, you know, Gul'dan or even another creature that they drop. So it's a little bit risky. We could go Abomination, plant him down, and potentially destroy the board, or go Eaglehorn Bow and take out the Fairy Dragon. I think we're going to play the Abomination and force him to act on that. I feel like that's the best play. I could set up a bow. The other one would be to set up a bow and a misdirection. That actually seems pretty good as well. If I play that, he won't play his Flame Imp, so I'm going to do the bow, a misdirection, and I'm going to kill the Fairy Dragon. Like, I know he has a Flame Imp in his hand, so there's a chance that it's worth hanging on to the Abomination to attempt to kill that when it comes out, because it's going to come out, you know, I would assume soon, because its power will drop off later on in the game. I realize it costs 3 mana for him now, but it's still there, and he can clean it up. There he is. And that it's good to note up here, that cost him 3 mana just then. It didn't cost him 1 mana. If it cost him 1 mana, that would mean that he's holding another Flame Imp up there. So it's good to note that he played the Flame Imp that cost a lot of the additional mana. So the Flame Imp that we killed just then was the one that I sent back, not a second Flame Imp. I was talking over that, but basically I think the misdirection killed these two creatures, which is probably the best possible result that we could have had there. So at this point, we just go ahead and bonk him a bunch of times. One charge of the bow plus a steady shot will do a number on him. The alternative would be to play the Abomination, but I don't particularly want to play Abomination onto an empty board. And likewise, I don't want to play these two creatures onto an empty board either. They sort of benefit from having something out there. So I'm just going to sort of take my time and put the pressure on. I mean, I could play Pyromancer here and just put something out there. I sort of feel like he sort of lets me live in the early stages of the game. Not so much the later stages. And that considering that we do have an Abomination as a backup, and we can afford him with the mana, I think I'll just play him. Put something on the board. If I didn't have the Abomination in the hand, I maybe would have held him in reserve, because if he decides to play a bunch of Blood Imps later on, I can then take them out with Wild Pyromancer. But I can probably catch them with my Abomination, should it come to that. You call that? Very good. I think this is interesting. I mean, I'm going to just trade off here, I think. I use Arcane Shot on the Dark Iron Dwarf. He will trigger, killing this character. The Dark Iron Dwarf will then have 1 life left, and then I'll probably just throw my Wild Pyromancer into it. Is that efficient? Can we be more efficient? I can hit him for 3 damage, ignore these 2, and then play the Abomination. That might not be a bad idea. It sort of puts a little bit of pressure on his side. On him to react to this. If he dies, though, he will kill my own Wild Pyromancer, and I can probably do without that. I think I'm just going to get rid of these 2 creatures. He does have 1 life. I could potentially play the Abomination now and swing. Even still, he'll attack the Abomination and then this guy will die. So I'm just going to trade them off. I feel like the Wild Pyromancer trading into the Dark Iron Dwarf is probably worth it. It feels like I'm trading up. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but it feels like I am trading up. Trading a lower resource for a better resource of his. I sort of have like a really nice set of cards here that really sort of allow me to handle whatever he decides to play. There's not a lot that he can't play that these won't handle it to some degree. This would probably be the time to play Ragnaros. I think it may be. They could do 5 damage to him, 5 plus maybe a Soulfire or a Shadow Bolt, or even a Power Overwhelming will kill him. So maybe that's not the best. I could probably go Abomination here. Abomination will, at the very least, absorb some damage and maybe kill the Shattered Sun Cleric. I think I'll do that. Abomination and Steady Shot. That way I'm still pressuring his life total. He'll be less likely to use his life tap every single turn if his life total is quite low. It's also a good idea to remember that the Abomination does actually do 2 damage to both players. And so when the Abomination dies, he will go down to 11. And that's fantastic. I think we can be patient here with Ragnaros. I don't think we need to play it right now. That could very well be the wrong choice. Because I'm sort of banking on the fact that he's holding a Soulfire or something like that. And, well, there you go. There's a Ragnaros of his own. There's a Soulfire, which more or less would have been going on to Ragnaros in conjunction with both of these 2 creatures. So, I think I made the right play there in the sense that I didn't instantly lose my Ragnaros. Luckily, we have a Big Game Hunter. I think we'll just Big Game Hunter this character before I die, because if I don't do that, I will most certainly die. I think Big Game Hunter into perhaps Deadly Shot just to clear the board, just so I don't get Power Overwhelming Soulfire combo or something like that. So this has to go. I mean, alternatively, I could play Sylvanas, but I'm sort of risking... I'm looking at being lethal in my damage total next turn, and that's no good. I could play Sylvanas here instead. That is an option. I think I just want to Deadly Shot this away because he only has 1 card. He'll draw another, so he'll only have 2 next turn. That's really limiting his options. I think Deadly Shot would be the play here. I just don't want to have to face down a Ysera next turn without a Deadly Shot. But hopefully I can somehow manage that with the other cards I have. Let's get rid of it. At the same time, choosing Deadly Shot allows me to put a little bit more damage onto him. I'm going to keep my last charge as well. So, he's looking at being lethal next turn as well. 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8, 9 from my Steady Shot will kill him. So, he's going down to 7. Looks like he's digging for something very specific. Going back up to 9 won't save him. I can do 9. That's not going to do anything. I think we got him. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. Let's just do that. Thank you very much. I have found that Warlocks have been a reasonably easy class to play against with the Hunter. As the Hunter, with this particular deck, that is, because this deck does vary significantly from, you know, like a beast-themed deck. Playing against Warlocks is you can really rush down their life total, because if they life tap all the time and are doing self-damage all the time, and just by steady shotting them, you can really sort of put them off playing good cards quickly, and you can put them off their whole hero ability pretty fast. So, you know, that feels good. I don't think I was too challenged at that point, because his health total was so low, he sort of had to play a little bit conservatively. So I guess we'll see what happens. Now, this could be an interesting matchup here, because warriors are unpredictable, because there's so many different builds of warrior. Well, at least that's what I've found. I think I'm just going to have to ditch these, because I think... Well, I'm not going to cast them. I have no idea if he's going to be sort of slow, Mountain Giant related, or... sorry, not Mountain Giant. Molten Giant related, or if he's going to be an aggressive or a control deck. I don't know. It's really hard to say. This is a pretty good hand, though. Drawing the Eagle Horn Bow and a Snipe together feels good. I'm gonna flare just to draw a card. I don't care about revealing stealth, and I don't care about getting rid of secrets against a warrior. I just wanted to draw a card. Plus, there's some pretty fireworks. I still am actually running 2 of those in my deck. I sort of really like it. I'll just play the Snipe and pass the turn. I like cards that cost very, very little, that draw other cards. I realize Novice Engineer does that really, really well. That card is such a pain. Like, I seriously hate that card. It's really good. I think I'm gonna flare and tracking. I'm gonna flare first, because that gives me more information for my tracking, because I make a decision on the tracking, whereas I don't make a decision on the flare. By doing flare first, I now have that little piece of extra information right now, and that can sort of help me out pick a better card here. I'm sort of afraid that he's going to rush me down. I already have a misdirection. It's got to be one of these two. Sort of feeling an explosive trap. It's really hard to say if this is going to be the right choice here. Yes, I'm not too sure. Considering that I have no real way to damage creatures, like if he floods the board next turn, it could be tough, but if he plays just one big creature, that would be better. I'm going to take the explosive trap because I do think that I'm weaker to a rush strategy than dropping single bombs, because I can always hit stuff like that with, you know, deadly shot or what have you. We'll just see if that's the right choice or not. I guess it'll just depend what he plays. I think to get rid of this guy, we either just play Misdirection and then let him hit himself and then Eaglehorn Bow it next turn, or we can just Eaglehorn Bow him now and remove it. I sort of want to do the Misdirection and Steady Shot together though, and just sort of start working on his life total. With any luck, he'll play another creature, and then this guy, because he does actually have a quite large attack, he may actually kill his own creature if he sort of screws up there. It's a bit of a gamble. I'm going to go with the Misdirection Steady Shot. There's a very good chance that I probably should have played Eaglehorn Bow and removed this creature straight away. But we'll see, we'll see. I mean, I can do that next turn anyway, right? Like, this is the situation we were anticipating, but there's a chance he could have played another creature. Maybe even 2 for 1 himself, but I think I'll just take the no damage for a turn and the 4 damage on him. So like if he played that and then he swung into it, that would just be the best. I think here we got to put down Explosive Trap plus the bow. There's no real other thing to do. It's going to be interesting though, because if that Explosive Trap's on this guy, he becomes an 8 damage creature, whereas... So I'm going to have to use the bow on this. The only problem about Explosive Trap is that it kills neither of them, which is a little bit ugly. I think I'm going to have to put the trap down anyway to get the extra charge on the bow. I'm going to take a lot of self-damage here, and that is not going to be... That's not going to be very good. Yeah, I definitely need the other charge on the bow, not so much the damage on him. I mean, it will help certainly if I draw an Arcane Shot next. But short of that, I don't really think that that's going to help too much. There's a good chance I may even just play my second Explosive Trap to kill this one guy, and sort of hope he plays into it. 5 mana, what's he going to do? The other thing is, if I hold this Explosive Trap for another, not next turn, but the turn after, I can do it in conjunction with Gadget Stand Auctioneer. I can really pull ahead with some of the card advantage. Yeah, this is going to be a problem. That axe. That axe will be a problem. I think I'll Argent Commander this man. I could use Explosive Trap to get rid of it and play a Snipe, which will alleviate whatever the next thing that comes down. It would alleviate the pressure off me, because if he plays another Arcanite Reaper, I think I'm just dead. I really think I need to handle this. So I'm either going to handle it with a Charged Divine Shield and hope that he uses his final charge, killing this off, or alternatively put 2 traps down. I think I might go the traps and then just hit him a few times with the bow. That could be wrong. Yeah, I think I want Snipe up, and Snipe will go well in the mana cost department for casting both of these. I think I'm just going to swing at him though. Yeah, because Flame Trap will kill him. Hopefully, with any luck, he'll play a bunch of creatures and then attack, and then Flame Trap will do additional damage onto his stuff. Saving the Argent Commander here, I'm sort of hoping it's going to be a little bit more valuable. So, I mean, it does actually add up with all those Flame Trap hits and all those Steady Shot hits. Like, do get him down. I can't even really remember swinging at him, like, really, yet. I mean, maybe with the bow, but, I mean, he's done that to himself. You know, an axe. This is the problem, like, with this deck. I think it's not horrible, but it can be pretty tough. Like, just endless axes that really put the pressure on. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is probably put Gadget Stand Auctioneer down and sort of make him think that that is more of a threat. I think we play him this turn instead of this guy, because he's sort of like a surprise element, whereas this, he will always have a turn to react beforehand. I realize that I have no spells to combo with him this turn, but I may never draw them. I could just draw creatures or something. So I think I'm just going to put him out and sort of try to threaten the board a little bit. Whip. Bonk. With any luck, he'll use some sort of fiery axe combo on this gadget stand auctioneer. I don't really have the health to be absorbing the axe blows right now. I definitely need more traps to come into my hand immediately, and not that stops the axes, but it'll stop whatever garbage that he wants to put on the field. There's a good chance he knows what that is.
To Northrend.
That may trade off with my creature right now. Or he might just be going for gold. 4 damage on me, 3 damage on me. I actually think he probably should have attacked me, because then he would have 1 charge and he could just attack me next turn and win. Ooh, can I beat him this turn? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. Puts him pretty low. He would then have to kill me next turn. He would need a direct damage spell like Mortal Strike, or you would need a Corcoran Elite, and that will finish me, or any charge creature. This is going to be one of those games where it's just like, if he has the card, he wins. If he doesn't, I win. So, shall we see? I will kill him next turn. I mean, I have my bow, I have my steady shot. It's just a matter of whether or not he can do an additional 3 damage to this fiery war axe. If he has a charged creature, he'll just play it and I'll die, and then that'll be that, and then we can all, you know, go home. But he's thinking about it, so he might be a little bit threatened at the moment. Then again, he's not actually mousing over any of his cards right now. Normally you can see what card they're looking at, so maybe he's just gone and got a coffee. Oh, he's back. Alright, so... Oh, no!
Your magic shall not save me.
And that'd be the game. Well, I can't say I'm surprised, given that it is a warrior deck. Of course he's going to have some sort of super speedy method of getting at me. That's not too surprising. I think we were hopeful at best to have won that one in how that came down to the line. Like, I was sort of hopeful that he didn't have a haste creature, or a creature that provides haste, but he did. I mean, he had enough cards, so it's more than likely that he would eventually have had one. Players around this level are starting to sandbag those, you know, I can't even... Warsong Commanders. They sort of hold them back and then try to rush you down later on. Okay, so that's an interesting observation. I think going against, say, like a Warlock aggro deck, we go alright, but it's the weapons on the warriors that seem to really just be, like, at least to this deck, like, unavoidable damage. Unavoidable damage. It's just, especially those Arcanite Reapers. Much damage. Get rid of the Abomination, because he's really, really, well, a bit too fat for us at the moment. The cost of 5 is too hard. This is a pretty sweet hand. This is a really sweet hand. The thing that would make this absolutely the best would be a bow. And I'm going to try to look for a bow with tracking. Why you do this to me? I think maybe we want a mid-range creature for safety. And that would be Sylvanas. I realize that will finish the game, and if I don't select it, it will disappear out of the deck. You know, as will that one, but I believe I have another one in this deck. This one's a one-off. I'm going to take Sylvanas, especially if he starts playing, you know, Earth Elementals or something like that. I'm going to want to be able to steal those. I'll pass the turn. Especially when you don't really know what he's up to. I mean, he could be control, he could be aggression. It's really hard to say at this point. There's the bow we wanted. That is probably the happiest... This is the happiest day of my life right now. I'm gonna play Snipe. Whatever he plays next, I just don't want to have anything to do with it. I want to keep the pressure off a little bit. The only problem with playing Snipe, and you know, this could be incorrect, but playing Snipe early usually gets absorbed by a Novice Engineer, and he draws a card, and okay, well that worked out really well actually, because that is a pain. But a Novice Engineer he won't lose a card from his hand because he just draws another one, but you'll sort of waste your Snipe getting rid of that stupid card. So it's a little bit, you know, bit ugly. I'm going to set the bow up and just remove this at no cost to myself. Easy done. Next turn, I would imagine that I'm going to put down a few of these traps. Probably one, just depending on what he plays. Yeah, I think we're going to do a freezing trap on that one. We'll save our misdirection. I mean, alternatively, we could deadly shot it, honestly, but we tend to save these for meaningful creatures that they play. So we'll freezing trap. It's important to note that this does get a charge on our bow. We definitely do want the charges on our bow so that we can... It's another source of damage. In fact, it's sort of our primary source of damage in addition to steady shot. Being able to swing with this, like, every 1 in every 3 turns adds up to quite a lot of damage. Excuse me. Back to the hand. That is now a, what, 6 costing... So there's that Earth Elemental I was telling you about. Yeah, so I'm probably going to play Sylvanas into that. I think Sylvanas would love to get a piece of that. Alternatively, I can just... Oh, misdirection. I think I'll misdirect and yeah, I'd probably want to misdirect this. So I have so many ways to handle this creature right now. I could deadly shot it, and that is probably the safest option. It goes away, and then I, you know, run away skipping. I can use Sylvanas, steal it, and really take control of this game. Or I can misdirection, put 7 damage on himself, and then maybe steal it next turn. Which would be really, really cool. Not sure if I just want to play Sylvanas and get it over and done with. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think I am just a junkie for wanting to make him hit himself with his gigantic creature. So I'm going to do that. He's not going to be casting a lot next turn. That does have overload, so he can have a hard time doing that. I think I'm going to steady shot flare. I'll flare first just to see what I draw in case I get a better option than to steady shot. Let's see what it is. Argent Commander. Not that we're going to be casting him. We'll just steady shot, but I'll make a quick comment on why I didn't play freezing trap just then. Basically, if he swings, it will misdirect, it will activate both traps, and there's some real awkwardness in that area. Like, activating both traps, usually you'll waste a misdirect or you'll waste a freezing trap or something horrible like that. Enjoy your 7 damage. So we can freezing trap him next turn as well. See, that actually would be a problem there, because I actually didn't really mention it. It was part of my decision-making process when I decided not to play Sylvanas, but yes, he could have Totemic called and then attacked with Earth Elemental into my Sylvanas, and then I'd have a 50-50 chance taking these. I don't know if he would actually do that, because I still wouldn't like giving up my 7-8 on a 50-50 chance. That would really bug me, but, you know. I think the play here is just to play the Black Knight and destroy it. That way we put down something on the field and we call it a day. We can play Freezing Trap, and that does seem reasonable. I don't think there's going to be anything better to destroy with the Black Knight though, and he is so sort of conditional that I think this is like my perfect target for it. And I'll get rid of this totem. This is one of the most pressing totems to remove, I believe, personally. It is a pain. It is an absolute pain. It just makes all his spells do obnoxious amounts of damage. And the thing is, he gets that spell power for free, so we can do without that. I realize that sometimes, you know, the taunt one could be more clutch. You know, you're gonna kill him, but he drops a taunt totem and it really bugs you. But I sort of think that, in general, that spell power one is more of a pain. That did cost him 6 mana, so that means that's 2, and that is 4. Did we catch one on a freezing trap before? Which means that he would have another Sinjin Shieldmaster in his hand. I believe we caught it on a freezing trap. Or was that the last game? Oh boy. I should probably keep better track on this. I'm going to assume that that was this game. And in that case, he has 2 Sinjin Shieldmasters, and he's just played the cheap one just then. It's good yeah, okay, so I think what we'll do is play a freezing trap and go. I think we'll put an Abomination down. Abomination will clear out any totems that he wants to put down, sorry. But that doesn't necessarily take care of that. I mean, I'd have to use a charge on my bow to remove that. The alternative is I play Charge with Argent Commander, and he does 3 damage to my Knight. I think, yeah, Argent Commander is always a pretty safe bet. So, some for you, some for you. I'm okay with taking the self-damage, I'll just pressure him with this. There is a chance I should have removed this creature just then with my Black Knight. I think that little fuse counting down made me panic. That would have been 2 damage to each creature, and it wouldn't have mattered because he played that. Okay, so, you know, it's not the end of the world. I think Sylvanas and Freezing Trap in 1. So if he attacks Sylvanas, I could steal 1. And if he doesn't, he gets frozen. Alternatively, got to look at the options. We can play an Abomination, which will probably get hexed. And by that same logic, so will Sylvanas. I think what we'll try to do is try to bait out some of these hexes. I think that's what I want to do. So if I put down this, I will actually clear out his totems when it does die, which is good. I'll play a Freezing Trap. Yeah, we're going to put that up. We need charges on our bow. We need to sort of set the stage for something good there. Probably going to hang on to the Arcane Shot. Just, there's so many applications for it. And doing 2 damage here or there, like removing that, or doing 2 damage on him, or even going to the face right now, it's too hard to say where it should go. So I'm just going to wait a moment and find the appropriate place to insert that. If he does attack into the Abomination, he will lose the Fire Elemental. It will do 4 damage to him, then explode and take it off the field. Which is good. Because I feel like that card is stronger than my card, and I feel like I'm trading up. And that's largely because it's got a higher mana cost than mine. Him being at 6 and me being at 5. So it feels good. Interesting. Interesting. This will be probably 9 damage for me on the nose. Ooh. Freezing Trap. I don't think that worked for him. The Freezing Trap probably saved me a lot of unnecessary damage just then. So we have a charge on our bow, we have a steady shot available. I think we just put down a misdirection and steady shot him and bonk him with the bow. That's really going to put the pain on him, I think. He is getting quite low. I could probably... I could Arcane Shot him. I'm still just going to keep it just in case he does play something that... I mean, I can play that anytime, really. It would be funny for him to misdirect his haste creature and kill him if you happen to have a 6 damage haste creature or something. I don't know, but... I think we're just going to save that. I could easily play Sylvanas or Big Game Hunter and pressure the board here. Actually, you know what? There is probably a very good... Now's probably a good time to play Sylvanas. I usually like to hold it back for when they have a creature that's worth stealing. Like they play a creature and then you play this Sylvanas sort of in response to that. But playing it now might force him to interact with Sylvanas because I'm going to kill him next turn, more than likely. Like he'll have to hex her and that'll use a lot of his mana and will prevent him from doing something really worthwhile. The only problem is he may hex her and then play a creature, but I mean, if he's going to hex it, he's going to hex it. It wouldn't matter because hex does actually get rid of the death rattle effect. I think this just sort of puts him under the pump a little bit. I think this is the right play. That's a nothing card. Looks like he's just cycling through his deck. I think he's looking for something that can save him. What is it? Mana Tide probably won't save him. Is that a hex? Nope, don't want to do that. I think he's hoping for a Taunt Totem right now. Doesn't get it. Lava Burst. Okay, it looks like he was definitely trying to search for cards that could have saved him there. And he, you know, made a couple of totems so that I would steal something unnecessary. Can I kill him this turn? Question is 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll do 6 damage, and then Arcane Shot will be 7, 8. So yes, we can.
Hunt alone.
Excellent. There's a little bit of burst in this deck. That's small amounts, but I can certainly chunk it away when it has to. Well, 8. Anyway, my name is Super Chicken. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to add me on Twitter and have a chat. I'm chatting to everyone over there. It's a lot of good fun. I promise it'll be an absolutely legendary time. See you next time.